The Deputy First Minister also said there would have been a plan in place for Michael Matheson's resignation but claimed she had no knowledge of what it was. Kate Forbes wasn't even considered for a role in Humza Yousaf's cabinet during last week's reshuffle, it has been confirmed. Shona Robertson admitted the former finance secretary had not been spoken to in the aftermath of Michael Matheson's resignation. Ms Robertson also confirmed her boss Mr Yousaf had plans in place ahead of Mr Matheson's quitting as health secretary amid his £11,000 iPad bill scandal, but claimed she was unaware of them. Ms Forbes, seen as a leadership rival to Mr Yousaf, had been tipped to make a return to government in the reshuffle, which saw Neil Gray handed the health brief. Senior SNP figures felt she would offer much-needed competency to the cabinet while it would also have cooled the civil war within the party. But asked on BBC Scotland's Good Morning Scotland show on Wednesday if she had been approached, Ms Robertson said, "I'm not aware of Kate being offered a position in the cabinet." Asked why, the Deputy First Minister said, "Well, these are decisions that have been made ultimately by the First Minister in terms of who is best placed to take on the position, particularly of the health brief, and he of course has asked Neil Gray, who is a very competent cabinet secretary, with a great deal of experience and was able to move quickly into that position. You need someone who was able to do that and get to grips with the very challenging issues that are in the health brief. I know firsthand what those are, and it required someone to take up the reins very quickly, and Neil Gray is absolutely the right person to do that job." Ms Robertson also said she was not aware of Mr Matheson's intention to resign beforehand, but believes there would have been a contingency plan in place. She said, "Well, sure, that thought would have been put to the scenario where if Michael had to leave government, then there would have been thought for the scenario of who would replace him." The Scottish Conservative said Ms Robertson must think the public are buttoned up the back to believe she did not know Mr Matheson would resign. Party chairman Craig Hoy said, "She is the second most senior member in government and must have known there was every chance the scandal-ridden Michael Matheson would ultimately resign from cabinet." The SNP are continuing to treat the public like fools after shamefully standing by the disgraced former health secretary for months on end. She seemed determined to pass the buck on to Humza Yousaf for the mini-reshuffle that ultimately took place last week, rather than admit she was fully aware of what her party's plans were. The public deserve better than this arrogant and out-of-touch SNP government who continue to try and claim senior figures know nothing about very serious matters in the running of the government.